Welcome to the Kryptonaut Podcast. I am Mark Storrs, and with me as always is...
Buck Stodgers.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The non-copyright infringing
That's right.
star of the airwaves.
Coming in 2020.
I like it.
My new movie.
Rob Morphy.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode. As always, be sure to rate and review this on the iTunes and the Apple Podcast apps. It helps us out greatly, and we love seeing the reviews, guys. We have a ton of reviews that came in.
All right.
It's awesome. We love getting the feedback.
We love every bit of it.
And it helps us out in our iTunes charts and whatnot.
So much.
Stuff like that. And, of course, the social medias, the Twitters, the Instagrams, the Facebooks. We are there. We're talking. Come hang out with us. We got some reviews to go over before we get started with this week's episode. So let's get it kicked off with an exciting take on the paranormal.
Oh.
A 5-star review from Bear the Hairless.
Oh, my God. All right.
Bear the Hairless, actually, check him out on Twitter. I believe it's at, I had his name pulled up here real quick. It is at Chad Faulkner1. He pushes our pod all the time.
Awesome.
Constantly, dude.
Bless your
constantly
heart.
get notifications that he's tweeting us, he's retweeting us, he's putting us in. When people are like, hey, what podcast should I listen to? He's putting us in there with a bunch of other really great shows.
Aw.
So shout outs to you, Chad, for promoting us. That means a lot to us. We appreciate the support. And Chad has to say, what a wonderful trip it's been, listening to the stories and theories about the origins of the stories like an X-Files light. Super entertaining.
X-Files
Boom.
light. I really
Gee,
like
I
it.
like it.
Easy going.
Oh.
Gentle on the palate. Not a lot of calories.
Dude, we're all Scully.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we really are all. There isn't a Mulder amongst us.
No,
Well,
you're kind of a Mulder.
I'm a Mulder?
Yeah, 'cause
That's the
you're-
nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Every answer is interdimensional for you. Somebody finds a ho-ho in the woods. Interdimensional alien.
It's true. Okay, fine. So
Whatever
I'm a
that means.
Mulder, and you two are my Scullys.
It's just the way the threesome works.
I'm a lucky man. I'm a lucky
That's
man.
our punk rock band.
Yeah, totally.
Mulder and the Scullys.
Mulder and Scully. Oh, sweet. And thank you again, Chad. Thank you very much. So moving on here, my favorite podcast of the unusual, 5-star review from the real Eric Evans. And actually, Eric, he's a listener of ours, and he was just on Instagram. I posted up, I think I reposted a picture. He just got one of our T-shirts.
Oh.
So shout out to you, Eric. Thank you very much for supporting the pod by purchasing the shirt. We love that. And Eric goes on to say, I have a huge interest in cryptozoology and cryptids, and it's clear these guys do their homework. What's more, they add a critical eye and spoonful of skepticism to each episode, which shows they are clear-thinking and rational guys. I love the interplay between all three hosts, and it makes for an entertaining listen every episode, all in capital letters.
Oh, shit. You know it's real then.
There it is. Boom. Thank you,
Ain't no
Eric.
fibs
De
there.
facto.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Eric. Moving on here. So far, so good. 5-star review from One Bad Apple. Was turned on to this podcast by the guys of Astonishing Legends. So far, so good.
Wow.
Very good. Thank
That's
you very
so far,
much.
now I'm pressured.
So far, so good. So actually, yes, we actually got a name drop from our buddy Rob Christofferson over there at the Our Strange Skies podcast, and it was in reference to one of the
It was an
one of your
illustration I
illustrations you
did.
Yeah.
It was in reference to the aerial school encounter, which was this fascinating encounter with a UFO and a humanoid with a sweet head of hair in a school in Africa, and all the students and I think even some of the faculty that encountered it. So it was awesome. They found my illustration, which kind of looks like, as Rob said, a combination of Alice Cooper and things that like to probe Whitley Strieber. And
Yeah.
so it's fucking awesome that he gave us a shout out, and it's awesome that that they actually enjoyed the illustration. As an artist, I always get a huge kick out of that. So thank you so much, Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally. And again, that's from the Astonishing Legends podcast. Check them out. They are awesome. And again, check out Rob's podcast. It is Our Strange Skies. Rob is a great dude. I love his podcast.
Not me, Rob. Rob.
Right.
Well, I mean, I love your podcast too, Rob.
No, well, yeah.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about Rob
I
Christofferson.
don't want our listeners to think you're just weirdly meta endorsing
Yeah.
us.
There's Rob Morphy, Rob
Okay.
Christofferson, Chris
Yes.
Christofferson.
Oh,
Holy
wait
shit.
a minute.
Phenomenal
Hold on.
star
What
of the
just
Blade
happened?
series.
This is fucked up.
I
know.
didn't even bring Chris Christofferson into the mix.
Mark Storrs.
How do you
Mark
Boars.
Bors. Done. Nailed it.
Mark Bohr.
Mark the Boar.
Borziana.
Niels
thank-
Bohr.
Thank you
Oh my
all.
God.
Thank you all again, Neil Bohr. Thank
For
you
all
all
you
again
chemists
for
out there.
shouting us out.
Bohr.
It's very nice to
Enrique
hear. It's very,
Fermi,
it's very nice to hear our name in podcasts like that. We appreciate
Oh,
it very
yeah, of
much.
course.
Moving on here, great podcast, 5 stars. R. Hardenbrook 87. Just started listening due to my lifelong interest in cryptozoology, and I can't recommend this enough. The only thing that could make this show better is if they played the creepy music from the 70s Scooby-Doo cartoon in the background as they read the eyewitness accounts. Great job, guys.
I fucking love that music, by the way. Thank you for the kind review. But I've got to tell you guys, as much as almost anything else, obviously it was the original In Search Of series.
Totally.
Narrated by Leonard Nimoy that completely seduced me. And that old Project UFO that was loosely based on Project Blue Book files.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are two of my earliest paranormal TV memories. But Scooby-Doo, as much as, if not more than anything, was not only a formative influence on me, I dreamed of being able to draw monsters as good as what I saw in Scooby-Doo as a kid.
And now you do.
It's just been a life's
I
work.
loved every monster on there.
Every single
the
one.
Willow is in my top 5 favorite.
Oh, my God, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Cartoon things that don't exist.
All right.
And Space Kook.
I like the robot. The robot ghost monster
With
guy.
that Space
Yeah,
Kook.
The Space
yeah,
Ghost
yeah,
exists.
yeah,
It's
he's
top
cool.
Kind
5.
of robot monster
Yeah, totally.
and sort of like our logo. Yeah.
Totally.
So,
Love it.
yes, absolutely. That's fucking phenomenal. So, yeah, Scooby-Doo for life.
Well, Rob, you keep on drawing.
I will. I mean,
That's
I'm
right.
literally living my childhood dream.
Good to hear. Great podcast, 5-star, Will Gentile. They approach each case unbiased and with a healthy amount of skepticism that provides the listener with a great show. I highly recommend this podcast. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
So nice.
Keep those iTunes reviews coming, folks. We
I
love
know.
it. We
it
love the
helps
interaction.
us so much. And honestly, bad weeks, tough times, real life got you down. We read these reviews, and it completely fucking
Totally.
It just lightens the load so much.
Totally. So, Rob, you got some stuff
I
on
got
Facebook
a couple.
for us?
I got a couple off of Facebook.
All right, what do you got?
As is my purview. The first is from Daniel Francis Vistad. And I
Nice.
feel like that's totally like an Anne Rice vampire name.
Could be.
Great podcast. Easily one of my top 5 podcasts. The guys are amazing and funny. The subject's current and informative. Keep up the great work. I love everything about that, but I'm going to call out one element. We are not so terribly current. We're digging shit out of the 20s. We're digging shit out of the past.
What are you going to do?
But bless your heart, Daniel.
Thank you.
Well, we act current.
Yeah, we do. We are contemporary men living in anachronistic stories.
You know what Mark is? Mark's does social media.
yeah.
Me and Rob are like writing with rocks. And fucking,
Completely.
For older men, we are current.
listening to the music on our Walkmans.
Oh, and I got my Discman. I'm like,
Listening
what
to
up,
the
old
hits.
man?
The hits.
I got my CD, old man. How's your tape?
Oh, my God. The next review is from an individual with the most astonishing name,
Oh.
Wolf Mungus.
Yes. Yes.
Punk as fuck.
Totally.
5 stars. I'm not even going to waste time explaining how awesome this podcast is. This 5-star review is simply an appreciation of deep dive references of both Modrons and Kamen Rider.
Oh, jeez.
Nice.
Wow.
Things we adore. In all seriousness, this pod features awesomely obscure, bizarre cases, files, and some awesome hosts with great senses of humor. Top quality audio. Thank you, Wolf.
You're
Awesome.
welcome, Wolf.
Thank you very much.
Wolfmungus.
Thank you. Actually, he recently started following us on Instagram, and check out his Instagram profile. It's really cool.
Is it
It's
super dope?
Yeah, it's really good stuff. He's got tons of awesome pictures on here. So thank you very much, good sir. I will see you on the gram. All right, cool. Before we get started with this week's episode, one last shout out, a very important shout out, because Christopher has been pushing for people to send us tasty, delicious delights,
Yes.
Tasty, yeah.
possibly in the realm of maybe alcohol.
Maybe.
Maybe. We don't know much about that.
No.
No, I know what you're talking
No.
about.
Not at all.
Inexperience. Newbies.
So shout outs to our buddy Jerry from Mississippi. We're going to call him Mississippi Jerry.
Of course we will.
Mississippi
For
Jer.
sending us a little package of some delights.
Oh, it was a care package from the gods.
We've
it has
been,
lubricating this evening so well.
We've been enjoying it all evening. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you very
You
much,
Excellent.
are
Jerry.
Gents.
fucking awesome,
Thank
dude.
you. And actually, he's got some ties to the local area, so it's keeping it.
Good.
You know what we're doing? We're keeping it 315.
Oh, we are.
That's for all you locals out
Ooh,
there.
shit.
wow.
yeah.
That's America for you.
315 till
Further
I
we
die.
are apart, the
There you
closer
go.
we are.
Boom. Thank you, Jerry.
America. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank
very
you, Jerry,
much.
very much. So this
Word.
week we are going to be getting started with the Voronezh Aliens, and this is coming to us from Russia.
Mother Russia.
All right. In what may be the most bizarre mass extraterrestrial encounter ever reported, scores of eyewitnesses claimed that in the autumn of 1989, a trio of three-eyed aliens, along with their mechanical companions,
Important.
landed and attacked a group of teens in a Russian park.
Sons of bitches.
Robert?
Sons of bitch bastards.
1989.
So right after the fall of the Soviet Union,
Oh, I know whose fault it is. The Scorpions.
yeah, truly, the winds of change.
Yeah,
they came through.
yeah, was it Donkey Park or something, right?
Donkey Park.
Probably not.
Wow.
I know Donkey Park.
That's the extent of... I'm notorious for screwing up lyrics.
Sporky Park.
All right, Rob, take it away.
Located approximately 300 miles from Russia's capital city of Moscow, the city of Voronezh is an industrial hub with a population of nearly 1 million, at least in 1989. I'm not sure where it stands right now.
That's decent.
Yeah, no, it's a big place.
It's decent.
This densely populated metropolitan center hardly seems like the kind of isolated milieu that is ordinarily associated with strange alien encounters. Nevertheless, on the evening of September 27th, 1989, it became the host of one of the most unusual, not to mention disturbing, encounters with ostensibly extraterrestrial entities ever recorded.
Jeez.
This is really one of my favorites. This is,
Yeah.
as Mark would say, top 7, top 9
Day,
easy.
top 7, possibly 8.
Easily, this is my top 13. Top 13.
This is definitely
Jeez.
no, this is definitely in the top 5.
Top 11.
I love this one. Son of a bitch. According to eyewitnesses, the autumn evening in question was unremarkable in every way, with parents chatting, couples walking, and children playing soccer in the Levo Bereshny Park. Yes, I practiced that.
Good
While
job.
nearby, a small crowd waited for a bus on Potoline Street. I think I got that right.
I'm in
we got
still.
a park.
I'm there. Yeah.
We got a park.
Couples, parents, kids,
Soccer,
People are
children.
jamming.
Just
Post-communism.
trying to get home
Wait,
after a
is
long
this current?
day.
No, this isn't
This
current.
is post.
Okay, post-communism.
But
All right.
fresh post-communism. Like they're still used to bread lines and terrible
Bread lines. It's
concrete
always bread
buildings
lines.
and
Yeah.
the horror of, living behind the Iron Curtain.
Yeah.
But that
Okay.
curtain has been torn asunder and the fucking rainbow of
Yeah.
democracy
It's a
is
soft
shining.
gold curtain.
All right.
Democracy. All right.
Democracy.
Levo Bereshny Park. Proud of that. The normalcy of the scene would be shattered at about 6:30 p.m.
Oh, son of a bitch.
when a handful of people at the bus stop suddenly took notice of a large, glowing, deep red oival.
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 Oival
Redenbacher! What are you doing with my popcorn?
Do you want
son of-
popcorn? I'm Oival. Here's the butter and the caramel toppings on the left.
Oh, caramel
fuck.
popcorn is the fucking devil. It's a terrible
I know,
combination.
it tastes delicious,
What?
but it destroys your teeth.
Sweet and
Ter-
sour?
It's so
Terrible.
good. No, salty
Terrible.
and sweet is the best.
Garbage. No. Garbage.
No, you're fucking wrong.
Oh.
You're
No, I'm
absolutely
not.
wrong.
See
I'm
you
not
in
fucking
hell,
wrong.
my
Yeah,
friend.
no.
You
See
know
you-
what? I will not, because I will not be there.
See you.
You
in
know
hell. Didn't we just talk about Grim Reaper? Didn't we just talk about that like a couple episodes ago?
Probably.
I think we did. Yeah. See you in hell, my friend.
Oival.
So I can't say ovoid, just for the record.
Ovoid.
Ovoid
What's the difference
Redenbacher.
between an
In
ovoid
voiv-
and an oval?
I don't think
What
any.
about if it
I
was
think
a-
ovoid's just another
Just
way of
replace
describing an oval.
Okay.
Replace it with Voivod.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, fucking great
Yeah,
fucking
all right.
band. Yeah.
So a
Fuck
large,
yeah.
glowing,
A
deep red
Voivod.
voivod.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It roar. That was like your first album, right?
Roar. They were fun. Wasn't Newstead in them? No, he
Yeah.
was in Flotsam and Jetsam.
No, he was in.
Voivod
He
too?
think he's currently in Voivod. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
good
he
lord.
was in Flotsam and Jetsam, totally.
All right. So
Oh my god.
it's
Anyway.
an oval. It's red. It's glowing. It's floating over this fuck-sucking park. Within moments, the nearly 40 individuals waiting for the bus were staring and pointing skyward.
Yeesh.
Witnesses swore that the quote-unquote vehicle, which they estimated to be approximately 45 feet wide and 18 feet high,
Jesus.
yeah, it's big,
That's a
abruptly came to a
fucking
stop
boss.
above the park,
Right.
hovering less than 40 feet above the ground, close enough to disturb the grass below. So I don't think they have any like evident propulsion system. I don't think it's shooting flames or anything, but whatever this is, it's having an effect pressing the grass down or whipping it up. I
Okay.
don't know, but it's doing something. Then, just as suddenly as it had arrived, the UFO soared away, leaving the eyewitnesses perplexed and perhaps a little relieved. And that's all that happened. End of pod. Good time, guys. Real fun.
I feel like they were all on drugs, and see you next week.
Yep. Nope.
There you go.
They're all
Barashnikov
insulin-dependent.
Park.
It was Russia.
There you go.
Hallucinogens.
Walls were gone.
Their reprieve would not last long.
We're back
fooled you.
in?
I
The
fooled
pod's
you.
not. Oh, Robert.
Psych.
The pod's back on.
Oh, my
All
God,
right,
I'm so
good.
lame. All right.
It's better than happening.
That's true, it is.
No, already.
Yep.
2 paragraphs into the
Yeah.
story, it's better than the fucking happening.
Totally.
That's a horrible movie. Just moments after it vanished, the strange craft returned, hovering directly over the soccer pitch, casting its shadow over a group of grade school children. And here's where I'm going to struggle a little.
Okay.
Including Vasya Surin, Lena Sarokina, Julia Sholikova, Aloysia Nikonov, and Vova Startsev.
A group of young,
Wow.
excellent
Vova.
Irish children.
Irish children,
In
as day is long.
Russia,
Just
practicing their
freckled,
soccer. I'm
red-haired
sorry, their football skills.
football. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Who immediately broke off their soccer match to gawk at the alarmingly close UFO. Both the kids and adults stared in awe at the spectacle above them, and all were utterly unprepared for what they were about to see next.
What?
According to multiple eyewitness accounts, it was at this moment that a large hatch opened on the underside of the still hovering craft, revealing an anomalous, long-armed, neckless, 9-foot-tall entity with a small, domed head.
Necklace.
So let's just enjoy
like
this.
a gingerbread man.
So it's
But skinny
no, think
arms.
Juggernaut.
So-
Juggernaut is exactly the image you want to have in your head.
No,
For
And
anyone
this is
who's a
this is
fan
Rob's art for it right here.
of Marvel.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
comics.
what you got out of that?
Yeah, no, it's got no.
Okay.
It definitely has
Yeah.
just like a no neck. Just
Okay.
imagine a pair of shoulders and then like a fucking dome right on the shoulders.
Okay.
Dude, this thing is totally Kane Marco. It's a complete and utter juggernaut.
Could be. But why
It's
can't
got
it
that
be
element.
a tall like a Mr. Freeze dome?
It could be.
Oh, it could be.
But that's just not how it was described and or drawn by any of the eyewitnesses.
Okay.
Because the kids drew pictures of it, and then other professional artists have come along and done it, and that was just my interpretation.
Okay. So Juggernaut comes out.
The thick-set creature, so it's not like just tall and thin. It's broad.
Okay.
Was clad in a silver jumpsuit with bronze boots, and was so broad it appeared to be. Was so broad it appeared to fill the entirety of the open hatch.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds more
So
like
you got to
Juggernaut.
think like I don't know, mid-'80s McFarlane Grey Hulk, like almost as wide.
No,
as
dude,
as tall.
this is legit like McFarlane. Ever seen how McFarlane draws Juggernaut?
Oh,
He
it's
makes them the size of
broadest thing ever.
buildings. Yeah,
It is a
No,
square.
he's like 4
Yeah.
foot tall and 7 feet wide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous. His dome alone is 17 feet.
I
It's
know.
terrible.
Fucking McFarlane.
Weird
As
head.
if this entity's immensity weren't disturbing enough, observers further claimed that there were 3 luminous eyes wedged into its arched head. The thing's 2 outer eyes were whitish in color, and the center eye, which was set slightly above the other 2, was bright red and this is a quote, swiveling around like a radar.
Huh.
Oh, like a Cylon?
Yeah, it
Sorta,
seems like
yeah.
it. Or I don't know. Is
Yeah.
it the light
Like, what do you
inside
mean?
of it, or
Yeah,
is
what
the
do you mean?
eyeball
Like, by the-
itself?
Yeah.
I all I have is the quote, so I
Right.
can't further elucidate, but that's what they said. They also claimed that the alien had a disc-like object attached to its chest. Now, the way I imagine this is sort of like a satellite dish.
Right.
The way I've seen it represented in other things. So
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
drawings, yeah.
This is more like what a radar thing would look like, actually.
Right.
Like the eye was moving around akin to a radar, but on the chest seemed to actually be like some sort of satellite communication receiver
Okay.
and or
a
broadcaster.
disc.
The bizarre being seemed to methodically scan the terrain below, then vanished and sealed the hatch behind it.
So he shows up.
Oh,
he's
you're
just
like-
So it's still hovering in the air.
He's
way above
scoping the
park.
scene.
He's looking out.
He's checking it out. He's
They
like,
see the red eye scooching around
lovely Irish children playing football in Russia.
as they're wont to
And
do.
then he
Oh,
just
scanning.
he fucking
Scanning
heads back
sucks.
into the hatch.
It was at that moment that the UFO began its descent. And y'all know that's ominous as fuck.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Nothing
yeah.
good comes of this. Onlookers stated that the object's weight was so substantial that it permanently bent the side of a standing poplar tree that was near the craft. So it's coming down, fucking up a tree as it's slowly
Well,
descending.
that's what UFOs do.
That's my sound of a tree.
No,
a
that was
poplar
perfect.
bending and
That was,
breaking.
that was good, Robert.
Please auto-tune that or
was
something.
excellent. Yeah.
'Cause that
No.
was just
Yeah.
horrible.
That is
Yeah, yeah.
exactly the sound of a tree breaking.
That's it. That's a massive tree shattering into a million pieces.
Yeah, that was actually less than like a popsicle stick.
It really was. It was the saddest thing that
And-
ever
and
happened.
half, or even a toothpick.
Snapping-
That's a toothpick,
Yeah,
man.
My
it was
mouth
like-
betrayed me.
it was-
I apologize
it was
to you
balsa-
all.
No, we're
that
not
was
with sound effects
balsa wood.
masters, whatever.
We are
Yeah,
not.
it's okay.
The object then came to a stop, hovering 5 feet off the ground, whereupon it extended 4 leg-like supports and landed softly on the grass of the Levo Bereshny Park. At this point, the alien that was seen through the open hatch now emerged from the ship, followed by 2 equally colossal and nearly identical creatures that shared the same featureless, tri-eyed faces.
So we've got more than
So
one
we
of
got
these
three
things.
3 juggernauts.
9-foot-tall super juggernauts
We got 3 juggernauts.
with 3 eyes, no nose or mouth.
All right.
Just a silver Tupperware dome,
Right.
2 white eyes, 1 big red one in the
All
middle.
right. Cool. Cool.
These extraordinary entities walked with a heavy gait, that's a quote, and were followed by what witnesses described as a box-like robot. So I
Oh.
can't help but to think
Fantastic Four. Herbie. Right? Wasn't that the Fantastic Four's robot? Was Herbie?
they did have that, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Oh.
more along the lines of, well,
Marvel
there's
Comics.
that one fucking wind-up Star Wars action figure one. That one that with the Jawas had that was blue and
the
actually-
conch droid.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
that.
It was,
yeah,
it
that
was the
thing.
conch
And then
droid,
what's
yeah.
that Bruce Dern sci-fi movie? Silent Running? No, that's a fucking submarine movie.
This,
Oh, what
I
the hell
don't
was
know.
it? It's an outer space movie where they basically had amputees playing robots, and they had like little legs and boxy bodies. I'm ashamed of myself. Usually I know sci-fi movies in and out. But either way,
we can't
that's-
win them all.
I'm sorry. I meant Gonk Droid.
Oh, Gonk
There-
Would you
Droid.
find out what that goddamn Bruce Dern movie is for me? Before
Yeah,
it
no,
haunts
yeah,
me?
that's
Gonk
exactly
Droid.
what I was
That's,
thinking of,
that's
too.
precisely what I imagine.
Almost looks like a garbage.
Absolutely.
A garbage. Looks like a garbage.
So 3 of these fucking 9-foot tall domed head
Why
things,
don't-
which makes me think that they're robotic, but apparently they didn't move in a robotic way, or at least they weren't identified
Yeah,
as
well,
robotic
there's
by
no
the
there's
witnesses.
no real evidence. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
they
because
just have tiny heads.
if they're silver, you assume
yeah,
metal
exactly.
or
And
whatever.
if they don't have faces and glowing eyes, you know. So anyway, this box-like robot that followed them had push buttons on its front panel, basically whatever its front-facing
Okay.
side was. One of the alien giants then bent forward and adjusted the controls on the robot's chest, which enabled it to walk about in what was termed as a mechanical fashion.
Okay.
it sounds like a Star
so
Wars
it follows
droid.
them out,
Like, it
or
really
they
does.
carry it
It's
out.
a
and
gong
somehow
droid.
it
Yeah,
ended
it
about.
really
yeah.
sounds like
They
that.
adjusted it and it walked around. The entities then began to examine the ground near where their craft had landed and proceeded to take some soil samples, which is straight up fucking classic extraterrestrial behavior. They seem so fascinated by dirt, vegetation, and anuses. That's like the,
Yeah,
that's the
I was
trifecta
gonna say,
of
I know.
alien
There's no,
curiosity.
yeah,
They're going to probe the ground, steal some plants, touch your butt.
touch your butt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just the way
There's
of
a lot
the
of there's a
alien.
lot of butt touching. If you want your butt touched, it's ideal.
Absolutely.
But if you're like, hey, don't touch my butt, it's less than ideal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you might not want random fucking extraterrestrials doing the butt touching.
No.
Like we're all allowed as human beings to be picky about who fucking does what to our hiney holes.
Yeah, no, I'm on board. Like, if you want to come and sample my yard, like, fine, don't fuck my yard
Oh,
up though.
exactly. Well,
I'm-
I mean, compared to your butt, you're glad with a ditch in your yard. Who
well,
cares?
yeah, but I gotta fix the ditch.
You're
Well,
really that
dude,
worried
if
about
they're
it?
like, we're gonna take just a 12-inch divot, or
All right, no, you're right. You're
Ultimate
right. You know
fisting.
what? You know what? You're right.
you're
because,
taking the divot.
because I can go to the landscaping company, I can get a bag of dirt, I can do whatever.
or you can go to the proctologist and cry
yeah.
a lot.
yeah, and he
or-
can be
or-
like, "Dear God, what happened?" and then you have to explain that.
Or I can not look my wife in the eyes ever again for the rest of our marriage and just be like, I chose the lawn, honey. I'm sorry. I destroyed my hiney hole. And then there you go.
Wow. Never save the lawn.
All right.
No,
One
no.
of the 9-foot tall creatures made indecipherable sounds,
Whoa.
which some spectators perceived to be orders. Then a beam of light emerged from the quote-unquote chief alien's chest. The beam projected outlines of numerous luminous triangular and rectangular shapes about 1.5 foot tall by a half foot wide, as if attempting to convey something to its comrades.
What?
All right, so
The
you get
fuck?
a beam of light coming out of the chest. You get, it has to. It's like one of those
Like-
'80s things where you see that fog and then the
projection,
hologram
I know,
shape.
that's-
how
yeah.
I'm seeing it
That's
in my
kinda
head.
what I
as
saw
well.
too.
Totally.
And it's just triangles and fucking rectangles, and he's barking weird compute garbage at his cohorts.
My favorite kind of garbage.
Oh,
No,
it's the
same
best.
here. He's communicating in algebra.
And you're just wondering, what the fuck is he
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Why is he saying
That's
it?
what would unnerve me more than anything is I can't understand what this guy is saying.
Well, you're not alone,
Okay,
because
good.
it alarmed one of the spectators.
Well,
This impromptu light show startled one young man so much he apparently cried out in alarm. At the sound, the lead alien turned and fixed its triple gaze on the youth, paralyzing him unnaturally in his tracks.
oh, here again with the unnatural.
No.
There's natural paralysis that we're all familiar with.
I think I'm over
That's
unnaturalness.
standard
the kid-
paralysis.
The
Then
ro-
there's
I-
alien, unnatural, semi-robotic
The
boy.
robot
paralysis.
wasn't, or the alien wasn't having this kid's being all
Shocked.
loud. Yeah.
Just going like, ugh.
He's
He's like, the fuck you did.
Yeah.
so
In
he
the
says,
middle of my speech.
he says, stop, but he says it like in circles and shit, and then all of a sudden, the next thing, the kid's paralyzed.
The kid's just frozen.
That, you know what?
And not just like standing
sometimes
still.
you gotta teach
but
kids
I imagine
lessons.
like bad movie frozen, like, you know,
Wah,
arms,
wah, 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 wah.
arms to the
Froze,
side,
yeah.
exactly, you know, gesturing mid-screech, and then just frozen.
All
I
right.
assume.
Well, don't fuck with the giant juggernaut.
Do not. This, needless to say, sent a panic rippling through the rest of the now terrified crowd, and, as if this tale could get any weirder, witnesses claimed that at this point, the aliens and the UFO all simultaneously disappeared.
Really?
Wait, from right at that moment, all of a
So
sudden they were there
they
doing
were
all that
there.
shit, and then they're gone.
They were gone.
3 colossal aliens,
Really?
1 boxy-ass robot, a 45 by 18
Oh wait,
foot
so the
UFO,
robots were gone too?
everything.
Everything
The-
was just
The
disappeared.
UFO, the 3 entities,
Huh.
the robot. They looked at the kid froze,
Right.
and then they're gone.
Okay.
Absolutely gone. Now, have they vanished? Did they teleport? Are they simply invisible? I don't know.
Why
but they're
not?
fucking gone.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
While the pause button may have been hit, this encounter was far from over. Approximately 5 minutes later, think about that. 5 minutes is a
Not
long
like a couple
time.
days.
5 minutes later, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like when you're in this and it's happening,
Right.
every second gets like when you're about to get into a car accident or something. You know, those times when your perception, because of adrenaline and anxiety and intensity, these moments are just
No,
bent to all
I get
proportions.
it, but like,
so 5 minutes must have seemed like fucking, like you say, 24 hours. People probably left. Other people panicked. But approximately 5 minutes later, the remaining witnesses, still stunned and chatting excitedly over what they had witnessed, were once again thrust back into the looking glass as the UFO and its occupants instantaneously reappeared at the exact same coordinates.
They disappeared for
Five-
5
5
minutes,
minutes.
Yeah, but
and then
the-
they just reappeared.
Same spot.
but did
Oh,
the
Jesus.
UFO disappear?
Yeah.
So
Okay, so everything did.
everything, yeah, everything
UFO, robot, 3 aliens.
Okay.
disappeared. 5 minutes, shock and awe, boom, now something back.
Like some people probably booked, other people were just standing there trying to figure out what's going on. Some people were clearly still waiting for the fucking bus.
yeah,
Just needed
seriously.
to get to where they had to go.
Well, yeah.
And then boom, it's back. So by 5 minutes, like I say, 5 minutes in an intense situation seems like a long time. Most of them had to be 100% sure it was over. Like
Right.
whatever it was, holy shit, what was that?
I don't know.
And then
I feel
the
like just
kick
a
starts.
couple moments of talking about it, you can kill 5 minutes would seem like that. Like, what the fuck just happened? And all of a sudden, it's back again.
You know, you might be right. It depends on your
Could be.
perspective. My mind
Absolutely.
says it's going to be drawn
Yeah,
out.
in my
because of
mind,
the
I'm thinking
intensity.
because
Well,
of how
yeah, but I mean,
intense it
once
is.
it's
Chris is not
done.
wrong. For some
Nah,
people,
no,
it probably
it
seemed
probably-
like a
Once they went
speeds
away,
by, yeah.
then you're going to be looking at other people, being like, "What the fuck?" And you
Yeah.
just 5 minutes is going to go by in a second when you're
Right.
like, "What'd you see? What'd you see?" Blah blah blah. And all of a
Right.
sudden, there it is again.
Needless
All right.
to say, most of the witnesses remain,
So
and so
it's-
they're there for the second part.
So it's back.
And it disappeared before, or did disappear before. Like the UFO flew away the first time, then suddenly reappeared. So this is the second time that people involved with this encounter were probably gut sure it was over, and then it just restarts. Which has got to be just, besides disconcerting in the content of what you're seeing, disconcerting in that from then on, are you going to think every time I think something's over, it is literally just going to continue.
Yeah, no,
like
there's
a
a
nightmare
lot
that
to...
you keep thinking you're waking up from, but you're really just dreaming yourself awake.
Yeah.
And then you're another part of the same fucking nightmare.
There's a lot of weird shit to unpack in this thing.
So 5 minutes go by, boom, they're backed. At this point, the only difference is one of the 9-foot-tall creatures was now carrying a quote-unquote tube that was about a foot in length.
It's coming for your butt.
Maybe.
What,
Going
just a
for
12-inch
your butt.
tube.
It's a tube. Not
Just
maybe
a
entirely unlike the kind of
12-inch
tubes
tube?
frogmen used to carry. I mean,
Sir, that's a wand.
tubes are a standard accoutrement to extraterrestrials.
We established
Well, I
the
know about
Loveland
that.
frog is carrying a wand.
Then maybe the Voronezh entities
Or a
are
firework.
also
It could be a firework.
It could be a failed, as Chris,
failed
as
Roman
Chris
candle.
copyrighted a failed Roman candle.
That's so true. This tube, about a foot in length, was
For
now
your butt.
in, I believe, the chief alien,
Made
as
for
it was
colons.
dubbed. Yep. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Without
or not.
warning, the beam shot out, causing the teen to evaporate without a trace.
What the fuck?
So the first
Where
one
did the
got
kid
lucky.
go?
He just froze it up. He just did a
This kid got
breakdancing freeze.
evaporated?
This kid's gone. Vanished. Kaput.
Wait, a beam from the tube?
From the tube.
The magic gun tube.
And
wand
dude just
The
disappeared?
kid evaporated.
evaporated. Before a terror-filled riot could ensue, the huge creatures and their boxy automaton then tromped back into the UFO. It then retracted its landing gear and began its ascent, slowly increasing its speed. Just as the vehicle was disappearing from sight, the vaporized teen miraculously reappeared.
Oh, so
Not
he's
a
back.
tragic ending.
Miraculously.
Dude, I
Nothing short of it.
I can guarantee you that kid has a much better attitude about life than he had previously.
you would think.
Whereas, like, I'm been vaporized. I'm back.
He might not even have known
He
it,
might,
though.
no, he
You
might
don't,
not
dude.
have known.
We'll see.
Raj.
We'll find out very soon that he
Raj.
doesn't know,
We'll
or
see. We'll see.
he was
That's
apparently
foreshadowing.
unable or unwilling to relay where it was he had been transported to,
See.
or possibly, as Chris was suggesting, he might have just not been conscious of it. He might have just been in
Yeah.
and out of,
Like anesthesia. You're just
Yeah.
laying there and all of a sudden you wake up and you're like,
or he could have been maybe annihilated in a true sense, like a teleportation thing,
Right.
where he was disassembled molecularly and then reassembled,
perhaps.
and just doesn't know.
Possibly.
We don't fucking know.
Okay.
We just don't know. Of course, it wasn't long before the press got wind of this harrowing and utterly inexplicable tale of UFOs, robots, vanishing tube guns, and gargantuan alien invaders. The head of the Voronezh Geophysical Laboratory, one Genrik Silinov, first reported the case, and, in a reflection of the then new era of glasnost, the former Soviet news agency, TASS, published a report about the event. The story then spread across the globe like motherfucking wildfire.
Of course it did.
Because fucking giant robots, soccer playing
Winds
kids.
have changed. The shit's
It's
happening.
on.
Yeah.
It is so on.
Yeah.
Ovals fucking shit up across the globe.
Ovoidals.
Totally.
Yeah.
In no time, scores of scientists, government agencies, and reporters descended upon the city of Voronezh. Those interviewed claimed that they had observed this UFO not just during the incident in question, but also many times between the dates of September 21st and October 2nd, 1989. So there was an entire flap of red ovoid UFOs. This is the one time they descended, interacted with human beings, took some soil samples, threw some fucking projected triangles up, and then left.
That's interesting. So there's more than one red ovoid, more than one red voivod spotted.
Absolutely.
And
this
is, but this is
it
the one
part
that
of the
actually
same-
landed.
Is it part of the same fleet? Is it a single
Right.
craft?
I don't know.
Are they exploratory? Are they science?
But if more than-
I may have a story after about this.
Okay,
Oh,
but if
that's
more than one
interesting.
person saw it,
Well, first off, let's we're gonna break all this down as we always do, but remember that there's like 60 plus people
Yeah.
that actually saw this.
which is
It's huge.
is this the most like?
I don't know
not-
if it's the most. There's like UFOs that have been seen over Mexico City and things that are
but there
more
was
massive.
there's like triangles in was it Las Vegas?
Belgium.
Yeah, Belgium, yeah. But
Well,
was
that
it,
was the big flap in
no,
Europe.
no,
but
what was it, Long Island or something that people saw a bunch
well, the
of
Hudson
triangles?
Valley
Hudson
had
Valley,
a
yeah,
huge
yeah, yeah,
flap in the 80s.
Yeah.
all of these things, but is this possibly the largest amount of eyewitnesses to a close encounter of the third kind?
Right.
It might well make that cut.
Okay.
Because there's
All right.
like the aerial school incident, which is a bunch of students and I think faculty seeing things. There's some from Australia. There's a lot of incidents of mass UFO sightings, much fewer of them actually seeing an extraterrestrial, and then interacting with said extraterrestrials.
Right.
I don't know for a fact.
Really?
I can't say de facto 100% this is the biggest, but it's got to be
Okay.
damn near the top, if not the top.
All right.
So we have, like we were saying before, this flap between September 21st and October 2nd. So that's over a week of just constant sightings of UFOs. The one main event where, again, 60 plus people saw this thing. And so I'll pick up here. An investigation at the scene of the landing indicated that there were deep depressions in the ground in the shape of a large rhombus. Rhombus being a rectangle at an angle with like sort of oblique angles.
Right.
It's a square, just kind of.
It's they're equilateral.
But they're equal sides, yeah.
Like both sides are equilateral. It could be square or rectangle, but it's tilted.
Okay.
So-
I failed math, so thank you.
That's why I'm helping you.
Exactly.
Well,
I appreciate it.
But here's the interesting part. Not that it's shaped like a rhombus, but that the depressions must have been caused by something weighing several tons.
Now that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Several tons?
That's not fucking around.
No,
That's some
ton-
heavy shit.
You're talking about tons.
So you're not faking that. You're not just like using, I don't know, something to tamp the ground, some heavy object like 4 cinder blocks.
No,
and
you
a
can't.
Tough guy.
No, you can't do that.
That's
I mean,
some heavy shit.
maybe a tank, but
But in the shape of a rhombus with like clear singular depressions. In
I
each
know
corner,
nothing about rhombus-shaped tanks.
That's pretty rare.
Very rare.
well, sure.
The rhombus tank,
Yeah,
the unknown.
Haven't seen
tank.
one ever. An Abrams? Yes. Rhombus? No.
no, it's weird. It's a weird shape.
Weird
Why would
shape,
it be in a
yeah.
rhombus? But
Scientists also allegedly found anomalies in the local magnetic field and background radiation.
Whoa.
So I guess some EMF shits, some fucking Geiger counter readings. I don't know what they
A
were.
lot of radiation. Magnetism is fucked.
These results have been disputed somewhat. There's a lot of people that are a lot of debunkers that are instant to say, or instantly responding that this is all a hoax. Though to get this many people hoaxing, I mean, I find that very hard to believe. Harder to believe than the weird shit that actually people claimed happened.
who verified that the prints had to be made by something that's several tons?
Some investigative
Whatever the investigators that
there
were
was
on the
government
scene.
agents. They
Oh,
said
okay.
former Soviet government agencies, scientists, and reporters. That's literally all the information I have.
Okay, so not
Okay.
specific, just
But
people.
I have to assume some scientists or maybe scientists working for said government agencies were the ones that
Right.
declared that it was multiple tons.
Okay,
We
okay.
don't know though, and you know what? You have a right to be skeptical about it. We
No,
all do.
I just
You have to
right,
be.
I just wanted to
Because, like I say,
put a
there's-
flag
there's-
there.
There's definitely it's a flag that should be put there, and I don't know what these anomalies were that registered in said magnetic fields and or radiation levels. I just don't know. Silanoff further claimed that unearthly substances were found at the scene, stating, "At first glance, they looked like sandstone of a deep red color. However, mineralogical analysis has shown that the substances, or that the specific substance, cannot be found on Earth. However, additional tests are needed to reach a more definite conclusion. Unfortunately, I can't say anything more about it."
yeah.
There's
See,
probably a report
All right,
somewhere.
well,
Now, listen,
we've got
this-
Martian sandstone.
This could be a fault in my research more than anything else. I'm willing to own it because this happened 30 plus years ago, or not 30 plus.
No,
like
but it's
29 years
it's
ago.
not unusual to find something that was initially done and not follow up.
Absolutely.
Right.
That is not uncommon.
Okay.
Allegedly, there was this weird deep red sandstone.
All right.
Other reputable witnesses included Lieutenant Sergei A. Matveyev, who confessed that while he had not actually seen the aliens, he had seen the spaceship, which he described as a body flying in the sky, a body meaning like an object, not like a torso.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Moving silently at a very high speed and at a very low altitude. Lieutenant Matveyev, I know I'm taking time saying it, but I have a hard time with Russian names, claimed that even he was a little skeptical when he first saw the object, claiming, "I thought I must be really tired. but I rubbed my eyes and it didn't go away. Then I figured, in this day and age, anything's possible.
Yeah,
It's
1989. Hey.
The fuck,
You
really?
know?
Communism's
Fucking-
gone. Thrash metal rules. Voivod's awesome. What are you gonna do?
It's just living the life.
Yeah, that's Miami Vice.
All
for you. There you
right.
go.
Well, okay.
Vladimir A. Mosyev, director of the Regional Health Department, and this is an interesting side note, claimed that his primary concern was that of the health of the children who may have been exposed to unknown pathogens or
Oh, geez.
radiation due to their close proximity to the aliens and their technology. That's an interesting side
Logic.
note. So Mosyev is like, he's just a guy concerned about health, and he's like,
Right.
if they were exposed to some insidious shit,
Yeah, we gotta figure that shit
maybe
out.
from beyond the bounds of Mother Earth,
Or the
Yeah.
grave.
Yeah.
or the grave.
Oh,
Yes, of course. From
yeah.
beyond the grave. So I found that kind of interesting.
If these kids are getting showered with cancer,
Yeah.
Oh, that would be horrible.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
that's something that could easily be checked
Oh,
out. We have
totally,
full
yeah.
names of all these kids.
Right.
And I've like read some reporting that says a lot of them, most of them at least, as far as what I've read, stand by their accounts
Okay.
all these years
All right.
later.
Okay.
So it's
All right.
interesting. Journalist E. Efremov, okay, I think I'm saying that right, of the Sovietskaya Kultura, spoke of the veracity of the eyewitness accounts. And this is what he said. Children and eyewitnesses of the abnormal phenomenon have been questioned by police workers and journalists. There are no discrepancies in the description of the sphere itself or the actions of the aliens. Moreover, all of the children who became witnesses to the event are still afraid even now.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Neither-
they're
yeah.
sticking to the story.
So yeah, they're not like being blasé about it. They're still pretty
Right.
terrified.
Right.
Following the event, the children, including 6th grader Roma Torshin and Genya Bilanov, were encouraged to draw the beings that they had seen, with results that even the skeptics had to admit were surprisingly consistent with what had been reported by the children and the adults, especially the ones waiting for the bus, alike. So, in the article, I have a lot of the like Xerox versions of the children's sketches of the vehicle and
Yeah.
the aliens and
Right.
different artistic interpretations, including my own. But it's interesting that the drawings they did independently of each other really seem to corroborate not only the reports of the other children that were playing soccer at the time, but the adults that were waiting for the bus stop and the other adults and teens that were just in the fucking park doing whatever the fuck you're doing in a park.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So we're going to round it up with this. In the years following this largely forgotten incident, there has grown an almost cult of affection for the odd creatures that allegedly visited Leo Berezhny Park that chilly autumn evening, including even spawning a line of Japanese toys. And the Japanese toys, I don't
Oh,
know if you got a
Jesus
picture of them.
Christ.
I
No,
put in there.
I do actually. I am right here.
It's pretty fucking dope.
It's pretty bomb. Yeah, I kind
mean,
of want
I
one.
totally want to own this.
See, God damn it.
How cool is
I
God
that?
damn it.
They, you know, this. I don't know if it's the same line of toys, but I think they do like
I
the
don't care. I
Hopkinsville
want
Goblins.
it. It doesn't matter.
And other
That's
like
dope.
true to life.
I don't care if I didn't know what it
extraterrestrial
was.
Encounters. You would want that.
Yeah.
Because it's so
Totally, yeah.
fucking
No, it
awesome.
looks cool.
Anytime the Japanese make a toy, I fucking want it.
Son
but
of a
when it's
bitch,
based
I
on a
know.
real life extraterrestrial
Yeah.
encounter, it sweetens the deal.
We got to call Japan and for our tour line that's coming out next year.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
totally.
Whatever these entities were, they have never returned or at least have never been reported, leaving the rest of the world to speculate as to whether or not these creatures were explorers from another world, interdimensional travelers,
Oh,
that's for
hey,
you,
hey,
buddy,
hey,
or
Mulder.
advanced scouts for an alien invasion.
Ooh.
It's always that.
Perhaps we'll be luckier if we never find out.
Wow. All right. There you have it.
I don't
so,
know.
So fucking wow.
Yeah, that's
This is just a crazy encounter.
the sheer number of people that experience this already sets me off into a different path than we normally take.
Absolutely. If it was 4 kids playing soccer,
Yeah, and there was
they
nobody
all
there to-
corroborated each
yeah.
other's story, I'd
Totally.
be like, "This is really interesting. It's worth taking seriously."
I mean, I was even
but
thinking
it's
like
a fuck ton of people.
I was like, all right, fall of communism. Maybe the government is trying to
so,
do some like
so
weird
how many
false
people
flag
actually
event.
saw the aliens?
All right. I don't know if we have a specific hard count, but
Like the kids-
let me go back here to checking out. We've got the kids playing soccer. We've got the people that are just doing what they're doing in the park. Then there's the bus stop on Putaline Street.
Okay.
All right, so nearly 40 individuals waiting for the bus. All right, so we could round it up to 40, or we could say 35 to 38. Who knows?
Okay, right, just some.
And however
okay.
many kids. Now there's
But they all saw the aliens. They all
Absolutely.
saw this.
And we've
Okay.
got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children that were playing soccer specifically named.
Okay.
So
Right.
7 plus
Whoever
about 40. Now, that doesn't count the other people that were on the nearby street, the other people that happened to be in the park, the adults and whoever else. So I've heard the figure rounded at about 60, but what we can confirm from this is still something close to 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But they all corroborated it. They all saw this.
Well, that's according to the reports. Now, I do
Okay,
remember, the
okay.
funny thing about this is, I remember seeing quick blurt reports about this. Like, this made mainstream media in America, but it was like
Yeah, I remember
pinhead
seeing
aliens
that.
do this thing. It was like a really brief thing on like the nightly news, and of course, it was done derisively, tongue-full.
Well,
in cheek.
of course, over
You
here,
know,
it's gonna be-
those crazy Ruskies seeing all sorts of funny shit, and I remember being intrigued, but at that point it was pre-internet, so I didn't have access to additional information.
Right,
It's just one of those
right.
things that happened, and then you hoped eventually a book would be published that would give you more information, like we had to do in those fucking ancient days of
Before
yore.
the internet,
yeah.
the modems, if you
When
will.
I fucking found this case on the internet, I was like,
8-baud
oh,
modem.
8-baud modem.
I
28
remember
baud.
it. I totally remembered it, and it made me intrigued. And so I wrote something for American Monsters back in the day, and I've kept up with it. I haven't fully immersed myself in all the research, but I've definitely been super intrigued simply because you've got a robot. You've got 9-foot tall creatures that could be robots.
There's a lot to
They're
unpack
not
there.
human because you need
You've
a
got
fucking neck and a head.
A kid getting paralyzed,
Well,
a kid
they-
vanishing, then reappearing.
Well, everything vanishing and repairing, not just the kid.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
But the entirety of the
armada,
event disappeared.
the armada, the Gonk droid, and the 3 juggernauts all disappear, and then all of a sudden,
Right.
there you go. Okay.
Um,
Originally, my train of thought was, like I said, Russian military false flag operation, but
Oh my God! Alex Jones me ASAP. I'm sorry. You said false flag. You know I have to
no,
react.
the only
doesn't have to be A. Jones. It could be somebody else.
Right.
It
I
could be
didn't mean to
Jesse
interrupt.
Ventura.
no the only
could
thing
be-
I would love to know if like all these people had an account
Right.
that would be spectacular. I'd be like, holy shit. There's not specifically like we can't gauge a number. We can estimate a number.
Sure.
Right.
But if there's a report where like at these all these people went and corroborated everything, it'd be like, holy fuck, that's real huge. Not that it's not good evidence anyway,
Right.
But like that would be super good evidence if they could. You had 50 people.
Right.
Oh, it would be mind-boggling.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, I believe that many people saw it. I do.
no, I don't think they're lying.
I think that they saw it. Again, I think I started off with like some sort of military operation or something, but because of what was cited between the aliens and the Gonk droids, and then the disappearance, the reappearance,
fucking Gonk droids.
the freezing of the kid, the disappearing of the kid, and literally the whole place losing their shit.
Yeah.
I mean, if we normally start a hoax, but good fucking luck hoaxing this.
Oh.
Like this is almost impossible.
yeah,
to
no,
hoax.
I don't think.
I mean,
Even if it's a misinterpreted military maneuver, if that's a thing.
1989.
This
no, it
couldn't-
is.
No,
well, that's
no,
definitely
dig it.
yeah, it's definitely a thing.
1989. Faking 9-foot tall aliens, a walking box droid, a 45 by 18-foot UFO, wicked impressive.
Right.
To David Blaine that shit.
Or
in
Chris
full sight
Angel.
of everybody, or
If you're gonna
whoever.
Chris Angel that shit.
Insert your fucking Las Vegas magician here. That to me in '89
Truth.
would be mind-boggling. And also, here's the other thing: it's not like they were doing it in Ukraine or some other country where they maybe were trying to get some sort of fuck with their politics or get some sort of dominance. They're doing it in a park just outside of Moscow,
Right,
and just
right.
like
Yeah,
an
no, that's not
industrial
even-
city.
right.
What's the effing point? Why would you go through all this effort, even if you could do it, which
Yeah.
I don't think you could?
Right. No, totally.
So here's where things get a little bit weird. There is a symbol distinctly placed on the drawings that the children did of the Voronezh Aliens UFO. And it's striking because there's a lot of people that are a little dubious about this, but this symbol is the UMO symbol, which is, according to Antonio Ribera in his book UFO Contact from Planet UMO, The Umites are inhabitants of said planet, which revolves around a binary star called Wolf 424.
Sweet.
Now, this
Is it
becomes this kind of
WOLFFE?
a convoluted mess. It's like allegedly 14
No.
light years away from us. I mean, people have seen it on things. I think it might even involve Adamski's weird shit. But what is interesting is it's very similar to something that Lonnie Zamora saw on a craft in, I think, April 24th, 1964. Now, Lonnie Zamora was an American police officer was chasing down a speeder when he
Yeah.
saw what he thought was a plane crash. So he diverted to find out what it was. He saw a craft landed. I believe it was egg-shaped. It's really one of the most very famous UFO and occupant sightings ever. Little people dressed in white were outside of it, and it had this same symbol, which is what were you saying it looks like in the Cyrillic alphabet, Chris?
No, I looked at it. I couldn't remember because I went to a Ukrainian Catholic school, so I learned the language. But I looked. I knew it was a letter. I'm looking at it, going, I think it's a letter, but
Right.
I think it's J. I think it's J. What they say J in a Cyrillic alphabet.
So this symbol, for those that don't know, it's sort of got 3 lines vertically, sort of curved at the sides, and then 1 line horizontally going through it. I basically
Yeah, it's like an H with a line down the center of it, but
yes.
it's curved. Yeah.
So basically, like an H with a line down the middle.
The lines on the ends are curved, like
Are curved,
a
going
not
outwards.
quite a C, but almost like a C.
like
Right.
reverse parentheses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and so like people are dubious a little bit for understandably really about the book by Ribera, but the Zamora case is very much corroborated. Like it was studied by Blue Book and government agencies, and they found traces of landing traces at the site, and it's just
Right.
really. And I'm sure our listeners know it's one of the most venerated cases, but it has this same fucking symbol.
So we
which
have
also slightly resembles the symbol for the planet Uranus.
Okay, so we have
Yeah, a little bit.
the symbol is our connection to
That symbol connects us to the Lonnie Zamora case, the Umo people, which again is a pretty suspect
from the
thing.
planet Umo or in the wolf whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Wolf 424.
Wolf 424.
But it's all right here. So look at this original drawing that one of the kids did.
Okay.
See, I
of
do
the thing.
that is a J. I mean, that is
I mean, it's even on their belts.
the only thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
yeah.
belts of the 9-foot tall dome-headed juggernaut aliens
Right.
have this Umo symbol. The UFO has this Umo symbol.
Sort of like if you were to look at anything like that we would launch into space, there would be like the NASA logo on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you have to wonder, is this like, I know it's dubious. I know a lot of people think it's associated with hoaxes, but the Zamora case, I do not believe is a hoax. This
Right.
case that we're talking about, the Voronezh case, I do not believe is a hoax. There's, I think, every reason to think maybe like the United Nations has like the globe with the olive branches.
Right.
Maybe this is a sort of cabal of different extraterrestrial species
Yeah, could
that
be.
have come together for whatever the purposes of mutual exploration, or maybe even this is the group that is designed to contact us, and that certain member species have been selected to actually come down and make said contact.
Or if those are robots, I think like a theory that you've proposed before is those are like their version of our Mars Land Rover.
Let's
Okay,
go back to
so
Voronezh.
let's.
I'm just intrigued by the Umo thing because it's as dirty
No,
and
I-
down in the weeds as it gets, and as shady as a lot of the stuff involving
Right.
the Umo mythology is. And I'm the first to profess I am no expert in it because it always kind of had the stench of artificiality about it. The fact that these kids who probably had no reason at their tender age to be familiar with this mythology,
Yeah.
and Lonnie Zamora, and even this famous photograph taken near Madrid, Spain in 1967 by Antonio Pardo, which distinctly
Well-
shows a UFO with this on
well,
its base, or a fake.
yeah.
But it's the symbol. That's what
Right.
blows my mind.
No. So when was that photo taken?
67.
Okay.
And Zamora was 64, I believe. And the Voronezh case is 89.
Okay.
All right, so let's just get us back to Russia.
yeah, that's
and-
what I
and
focus on
focus.
because all those
Okay.
other.
I'm just intrigued by it. That's
No,
just a
that's-
side note that demands some attention,
But it's an interesting bit of connective tissue.
or it's completely removed. Like maybe it's just to a layman's eye, this symbol looks exactly like the symbol employed by
Right.
whatever the extraterrestrials or whatever the entities were in the Lonnie Zamora case, the Socorro case, I believe it's called. But and they just happen to look alike to the layman's eye, but
Right,
really
right.
they're not.
Okay.
But
No.
anyway, I just demanded mentioning.
Right.
No, it does. My own thing is why it's not in any of the accounts, but it's in the drawings.
That's true. They said it was glowing, ovoid.
Like, how could
floating.
it not be in the
But
accounts?
a lot of times, and remember, I mean, I most of this research I did way back when I started American Monsters, and I tried to upgrade it a little bit, but I'm still basically going by our article, which is now on Cryptopia. They might have mentioned this in some of the more very specific accounts of the story, but in the general reports that were put out,
Right.
maybe it just didn't get brought up.
Okay.
Okay.
And
All right, yeah.
another thing I'll just add is that things that tend to be glowing when they're flying very often dim and take like on a more natural shape, and you can actually see symbols in a lot of different UFO cases. Like the glowing seems to indicate whatever the powering apparatus is that allows these things to fly.
Sure.
Right, propulsion.
Sure.
So maybe when it landed, they could delineate these
They
symbols.
could see the symbols on the side of the
Yeah.
ship.
That's all.
Totally.
I'll leave it at that.
No,
Yeah.
I get there's probably reasons why, but I just like out of all of them, like none of them mentioned that. So I was putting a flag there again.
It's absolutely worth putting a flag.
Yeah.
there.
but
Totally.
also that it was in Russian, it just looks like a Cyrillic letter.
That's the thing too. I mean, that
Well,
is the
that's
style
the
of
other.
alphabet.
Yeah, the Russian alphabet is based on Cyrillic.
I mean,
correct.
maybe they're from Planet J
right.
in the J system.
It
in
is
Solar
kind of
System
weird though
J.
that like when you land in Russia, it's a Cyrillic writing. So if they were to land in the U.S., would it be just a J?
Maybe
Well, in
I
Socorro-
don't know. That's
in the Socorro case-
No,
yeah, no,
that-
you're
that-
right. It's
that's
Cyrillic,
pretty much
it's
Still the
Cyrillic
same
writing,
thing.
yeah.
And in the Italian case, or wherever
Unless
Pardo was,
whatever the symbol is for this alien species or exploratory unit, it just so happens to look sort
that's,
of like.
I know. Again,
I
it's,
just-
it's me pipe dreaming, but
No,
it's,
I get you.
like
No,
the idea
I'm
that,
pipe dreaming with you, buddy.
that
I'm pipe
these
dreaming
different
with you.
groups
It
might
could
come together
be-
under this one symbol.
It could be.
Right.
Because these are the people that are contacting, or maybe they're just the group
Where
of
did-
people that are
where
setting
did-
up invasions random places.
Where
Who the
did they?
fuck knows?
Where did they get the information for these UMO people?
That's
Is it
Spain. Madrid, Spain is where
Right.
this photo was taken.
Is that
I
getting
don't
into like
know.
Serpo and shit like that? Like
It-
the Anunnaki? Is that getting
I
into
know
like that
it's shady
territory?
as fuck. Where they talked about inhabitants from planet Umo, from Wolf, the star Wolf 424. He claims that they're 14 light years away from us in the Virgo constellation, and not in the Draco constellation, as some mention. So I guess that's a point of contention. In
We
the
don't
late-
see that.
In the
That's like
late
Southern
40s,
Hemisphere.
they received radio transmissions from planet Earth and decided to come and investigate. They landed in Spain somewhere in the 1950s. In 1965, they got in touch with a few selected individuals. By now, they supposedly established several bases all over Earth.
Oh,
So
Jesus
that is
Christ.
the basic
Okay,
mythology,
well-
which sounds like, honestly, a lot of contactee mythology, like
Right.
George Adamski and other people that you really have to take with a grain of salt, because the contactees became for the abductees, and they were the people that talked about meeting with gorgeous Nordics and
Yeah.
other types of people, and they
Yep.
just wanted international peace and no nukes and all the standard shit that comes down. Now, I'm not saying that none of this is based on reality, but a lot of the contactee stuff you really have to keep a skeptical eye on.
Yeah.
And this tends to fall right into that grouping for me.
All right.
But I am intrigued
No,
that
it's
the
definitely
Zamora case and the Voronezh case
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
have that same symbol lingering in there. Not important parts of the story, but just there.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, other things, when people tend to say this is from this constellation,
Right.
immediately that's a red flag for me, because you are seeing different stars at way different lengths.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't just say it's this far away. You have
Right.
no idea.
Well, they're claiming that the extraterrestrials themselves are telling them.
Yeah. Right.
Which that's
yeah,
where you,
again, yes, I
that's-
know.
Yeah. No.
But they're not claiming to
we
be able
have
to
to
measure
we
it
have to
with their
take
tech.
science off the table. And have to bring into the account of people saying like, "Well, I've been told this by the aliens."
None of this is really important to the discussion we should be focusing
Yeah,
on, which
no.
we're going to get to. I just found that to be an interesting side
okay,
note.
totally.
No,
And
yeah,
that-
no, the symbol
So,
definitely is, but it's
more than one of the children incorporated this into their drawing. So
Okay,
it's not just
so-
a weird
Yeah.
detail one of the kids added.
no, but
So-
it's weird because it's not in the account, and we had to mention it as a a post
a postscript to it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
that this happened.
So what the fuck are
Okay,
we dealing with?
So
9 foot tall, no discernible heads.
you know, it's just fucked up.
Zero
I don't
max.
even know.
Apparently
Gaunt
3
droids.
eyes.
Yeah.
Are they robots or are they clad in environmentally protective suits the way our astronauts would have to be?
Ugh, I don't know.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
there's no way to tell. I mean, they show those, and then they come out with the droids
right.
that we're calling droids.
Gaunt
Or the
droids,
droid,
yeah.
a single droid.
But that
Right.
could be the living thing, and those things could be the
It's
droids.
true. It could be.
You're right.
They
They-
both could be droids. They both could be living things.
that could
There's
be
no
a
way to tell.
Dalek-y type thing living
Yeah,
inside
it
of
could be.
a
There's
metal
no
box.
way to
and
tell.
The other things that that the kids presumed thought were the leaders
Right.
and in charge are really the tools being used for a job.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, when someone sees a light scanning thing, nothing biological has a scanner
Yeah, that would be
or whatever, like a
an
light
indication of some sort of like robotic
for
entity,
our
yeah.
perspective.
As per what we know of technology, yes. Yeah.
Scanning.
I'm inclined to think maybe this is based mostly on the eyewitness testimony, that because they seem so convinced that this boxy ass motherfucker was a robot and that these other things, even though they really look robotic, at least to our mind's eye,
Right.
were entities that were alive. I'm inclined to just think that maybe they were the living things, the 9 foot tall creatures. and
Sure.
but it doesn't mean that robots can't be fluid and like
No,
can't break
I know.
dance
Right.
and do the dolphin and do all the sweet shit they need
They
to
can,
do.
I think they can do all that.
Because the way these things are described don't seem atypically biological from an Earth point of view.
No, right.
But that does not mean that they're not perfectly biological from
Right.
whatever they're from point of view.
Yeah. Our perception of what a robot is as opposed to what an actual alien robot is completely different.
But the fact that they had a small boxy thing with buttons on its front that needed to be manipulated to move really smacks of classic automaton.
Well, sure. You
It
don't
does.
have to like
Yeah, no, it
smash
does.
cats for them to do things.
no.
Like they just do stuff. Like
So it's fascinating. Regardless of what's a robot and what's living, they land. First off, they're in the sky. They like peek out and like, what's up? Take off,
Right.
fly back, land, and it's like about collecting dirt.
Paralyzing a kid.
like a lot of alien encounters where they
Potentially.
ignore the human beings nearby. It's like, fuck it. We
Yeah.
don't see them, they don't see us.
Right.
Until, like, say, one kid yelps because he's startled by a sound or whatever, and he gets frozen.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, fuck, they see us. And then they disappear for 5 minutes. It's almost like they're small children or ostriches. Like, they think, oh, wait, it's been 5 minutes. They forgot about us. We'll reappear. Either
Right.
they really underestimate how intelligent we are. Like, they think we're just dumb as a box of fucking
Yeah, well,
rocks.
right.
So they just want to show up again and do it. The way we would, I mean, the deference we would pay to ants if we were excavating a site seems to
Right.
be how they seem to treat us. Like, just freeze them. Like, they're not trying to kill us. Even the kid they evaporate, they bring back. But they don't really seem to be either aware of how we perceive things or to give a fuck about how we perceive things.
I'm going to assume it's possibly how they don't give a fuck.
They seem not
Because
to.
No.
we, honestly, if we were in that situation, we wouldn't. Like you said, as far as like us in reference to like an ant pile, we wouldn't really care.
Oh no, we don't, and
It
we
really
don't have
wouldn't
to
matter.
have a single malevolent intention.
Yeah,
or we're
it's
not
like whatever.
it is a superiority complex, but it's not necessarily one with like malevolent, backdrops. It's
Right.
just like, oh yeah, no, whatever.
Yeah.
What we're doing here, what we need some of your fucking dirt. We need to do some shit.
Right.
We're making triangles and fucking rectangles in the
dirt.
sky.
We need your dirt.
You don't need to worry about that. You guys, and like say, in the same way that if a plant, if a botanist were looking for like plant fucking samples, would maybe look at some nearby monkeys and try to avoid them, but it would not have any bearing on what they were doing.
Right. Right.
So I'm just
No.
fascinated by the fact that they don't seem to have nefarious intentions, but not necessarily are like respecting us, trying to communicate with us in any way, trying to engage with the human race.
Right.
It just seems like we're here for dirt.
Yeah, well, yeah. It could
Suck it.
just been a fucking mission that had nothing to do with
And
us.
there was a spat of
Well,
sightings
yes.
of this red ovoid objects
Oivioid. Yeah, no,
in
there
the
were.
area. So And this just happened to be the one that came down, had a little bit of interaction with some kids and 40-some-odd plus people in a Russian park. And then they just kind of zip-zap out of there, and then the next thing you know, boom. That's it. It's over.
Fucking crazy.
It's literally just over.
It smacks to me like of so many people have said before, like the way when we like tag an animal and release it. Like we're not trying to hurt it. We're trying to learn about it. We're trying to preserve species, but it must seem so fucking traumatizing for said animal.
Yeah.
Like they're just on a plane so much more advanced than us that they don't feel like they can. We feel like we should be able to interact with them. It's like, can't you just talk to us? Can't you be our buddy?
Right.
But they feel like you guys don't. No. We're just going to try to be nice, not hurt you, and get on with our shit.
So, I guess it brings it to, like, obviously we briefly discussed, like, okay, could this be a hoax? This is something really hard to hoax.
I don't think it could be a hoax.
Whether it's a misinterpreted military maneuver or obviously someone purposely hoaxing this, or like a group decision of, hey, let's say this happened. I think, in my opinion, there's much with the impressions alone of being a ton of weight pressing down on this. On the field, correct?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that to me smacks of like
that's physical evidence.
That is way too much to fucking hoax.
The physical evidence is important.
Yeah.
Yes.
So physical evidence, speaking alone, I don't think this is a hoax. I don't think this is a misinterpreted military maneuver, which is a fucking mouth word. It's a pain in the ass to say.
It's a lot of
mouth
syllables.
word.
It's a mouth word for days.
It is a mouth word. A mouth word. So,
and I can't fucking run a conspiracy successfully with 4 people.
Yeah.
I don't know of any time
or 3
when and if if any of us have ever told 3 people a secret, I think almost always one of those people have fucked up. Obviously not the 3 people here. We're brothers. We're bonded.
That's right.
We're there for life.
We actually technically, on a technicality, we are our own Illuminati. We share secrets, heartbreak, and triumph.
No, we do.
Triluminati.
Triluminati.
It is what it is.
So,
but 50 plus people fucking maintaining
something
a ruse that isn't profitable to any of them?
No, not at all. That's the thing.
It
no
makes
one's
no
one's
sense.
making anything out of this. So I'm more inclined to think that this is maybe possibly some sort of alien scouting mission, and of course, I know it's my default position on the pod, interdimensional guy. Possibly something breaking through the walls of reality to our...
There's no fucking way. I've always been dubious about this anyway. There's no fucking way it's a mass hallucination.
No, I don't think so
I
at all.
do think that a rumor can spread, like maybe the Monkey Man
even
from
hysteria.
New Delhi.
This is hard to pin on hysteria.
Where exactly one rumor infects another rumor, infects a scant eyewitness sighting, and it becomes this paranoia. But when you really dig into that, very few people have seen something. You don't have mass hysteria, generally speaking, where there are 50 plus eyewitnesses.
No, not at the same time. Mass hysteria is different. It's something spreads and it's different times. Then everyone sees it
at a different time.
It's not like one group.
Absolutely.
That's not how that one
You can see
works.
it spread like an infectious disease.
Yeah, that's different.
When it's hysteria.
Right.
When it's a single event during a very narrow time frame with a large group of eyewitnesses, that is very difficult to either hoax or fake or blame on hysteria. So I can't see that being the case.
I'm honestly more apt to say, like, I think maybe these are just some people that happen. This might be some alien race or a confederacy of alien races that just happened to show up, took some samples, did some shit, and we're like, shit, they reacted badly to us. Let's get the fuck out of here.
It really seems that way. Like,
It
here's
really
the part:
does.
when they freeze the first kid,
right?
They don't attack. They don't go on a rampage. They disappear. Which to me, I don't think
is interesting.
I don't think they teleported necessarily. I think they just went invisible.
Right.
I think they were there and they were just like freeze, but on like a duck behind a pile of reeds. They legitimately have super tech camo.
Or that could be them possibly adjusting the people's perception.
That's a very real, real possibility, I should say. Well, it's here.
Also, if you think they're from another dimension and they have a dimension we are not known of, they just fucking go into that dimension, and all of a sudden they fucking disappear because we don't have access to that.
Like my best analogy, I guess, for the whole interdimensional theory is like, imagine if you're driving in a car and your window gets fogged up and you don't have your heat on, but you just kind of like wipe the moisture off your window and you can see through it. That's kind of what my idea personally of interdimensional is.
So what you're saying is they don't have direct physical contact with us. It's more like clearing a window so you can see into it.
Normally, yes, but in this case, because they did have an interaction where they froze a kid and then they made a kid disappear,
right?
That makes me think more alien.
Do you think the kid went to their dimension?
But that doesn't. It actually doesn't. Possibly. It makes more sense of having an extra dimension we don't know of. If you're two-dimensional,
right?
Say you're just. Neil deGrasse Tyson explained this, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't even think about this right now."
These things, and I'm like, I told you, fucking assholes! I was
right.
I was right.
Say the table right here is just like length and width, and there's a two-dimensional thing.
Right. But they've got length,
and they're just two-dimensional, and you
else,
you fill it with sheets of paper, and like, well, there's no more room.
Right.
And all of a sudden, somebody comes along and starts stacking things height-wise.
Right.
In 2 dimensions, you'd be like, oh my god, that fucking thing just disappeared.
Right.
Because they do not have access to height.
Because they don't have access to the third dimension.
Because in a third dimension, they have more ability to perceive.
So all of a sudden, this is exactly what it looked like. This shit just disappears, and we don't have access to whatever dimension.
I didn't think about it that way, and that's a great theory. That's really that makes me think about it a little bit differently. That maybe it possibly could be not necessarily an alien race coming to see us, but maybe something interdimensionally that we, because of how we perceive our world and our surroundings. What we're perceiving might not necessarily be all that's there.
Oh, 100%.
So if these guys...
I think that's de facto.
Well, no, that's why the string theorists think there's up to 10 or 12 dimensions.
So if these guys show up and they have more than length and width and height to them, and all of a sudden this kid is frozen, this kid disappears, they disappear, it's what we're perceiving that they're doing... It's our own little monkey brain trying to figure it out.
To us, they just disappear, but for them, it's just...
For them, it's something completely different.
I absolutely love the potential of that theory, and I'm way open to it. Multiple dimensions, things that exist in dimensions we can't fathom that function around us. In this case, though, I think we might be over complexifying it. I know I just made that word up. I think it stands to reason more so that they just have an advanced form of fucking super predator camouflage that just makes them virtually transparent.
You think it's like active camo?
Well, it seems like if it seemed like every time they took a step they were undulating in and out of reality, then I would think, is there some dimensional shit going on? But the fact that they were reacting to a kid being startled, they froze that kid like, oh, don't let him hurt himself or us.
Okay.
And then they're like, oh, everyone's looking at us, out. And just gone for 5 minutes, and then back. That to me, and of course, there's no way to prove this.
It sounds like someone
it's more indicative of camouflage.
It almost sounds like someone doesn't know how to use the fucking cloaking device. Like someone's like, "Well, how do I do this?" Wait. Oh, they see us shit. No, cloak. And all of a sudden, you're cloaked again.
Oh, it's been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And if they think of us as basically...
Tell Tom to zap the kid because he's being a dick.
If they think of us as carbon-based morons that are just... We're just fucking hairless monkeys doing our best, trying to feed and breed and just make this world work. If they don't have any like intense respect for our intellectual capabilities, they might think they can disappear for 5 minutes and reappear, and it's not really gonna.
Right.
They don't feel like a need to explain it. Like, here's the thing that really intrigues me: they'll freeze a kid that startles them.
Okay.
And they'll disappear for a second. Like, all right, we're out. We didn't do anything. Everything's cool. Come back. Then they make another kid disappear with their fucking magic tube, their super wand.
Yeah.
But they don't try to communicate. They're not looking at us.
No.
They're not using the fucking projection symbols in their chest to try to communicate anything. They just don't seem to give fucks. Other than if they're posing a danger to us or ourselves, they seem like we don't want to hurt them. We don't want to be hurt by them. So let's step back. It seems more like they're on a scientific mission.
Right.
For whatever reason, to get some fucking dirt, some sweet soccer pitch grass, I don't know what, and that we're like secondary to their objectives altogether.
Yeah.
That's my impression based on it. I'm both kind of fascinated and disheartened by the fact that they don't really care about communicating with us at all. They show up, they look out their hatch,
intent.
They land,
Well, I mean, because, to us, we are these, super intelligent, emotional, amazing, angelic beings. But to the rest of the universe, we're probably a bunch of fucking hairless, warmongering monkeys.
You're absolutely
right. It really
right.
what it comes down to. Like, a higher civilization would look at us and be like, oh, yeah, okay, they can feel feelings and they understand, like, how to split the atom and create the internet and look at porn and do whatever else they want. But at their very fucking base core, they are nothing more than hairless monkeys.
Well, yeah. I mean,
not to downplay the human race,
No,
but I mean,
but I mean,
I think in comparison to maybe other higher beings, we're just a joke.
No, we're super egocentric. I
yeah,
mean,
totally.
Galileo gets fucking house arrest for life because he suggests that everything doesn't revolve around the Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, narcissism has always been our go-to as a species. So it's sometimes hard to think that really we're probably not all that special in the grand scheme.
I don't really think that higher beings would really look at us with like regard to
what
like,
do you mean by higher beings?
Whether it be an alien or
more intelligent?
Yeah, more intelligent or an alien species or an interdimensional being wouldn't necessarily look at us and be like, well, you know, we're on the same level as these people. They would just be like, well, they are clearly beneath us. Not to downplay the human race, because I'm a fan of humans. I love me some humans.
Sure.
There's a lot of them I love.
For sure.
But if they're dealing with this type of technology, whether they are traversing time and space or they're traversing star systems, when they get here, we're just literally, it's like us looking at fucking deer.
It could well
that's
be.
A cute deer.
Sure. But like I said, I mean, we've talked about this before. Just because they've developed as a scientific population, it doesn't mean they have the same like a moral sense that we have.
Right. Well,
that doesn't mean that
you're right.
You know what I mean? They don't. They like what we call street smarts, or like what we consider morality, or anything like that.
Well,
if they're just a science-based, like I said, and if you just view us as a planet of fucking prey.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean they're smarter technically.
Or if intelligence-wise, they don't use emotion in their general breakdown of intelligence. They're just like, we're intelligence and that's it, and these are emotional beings.
Right. I mean, maybe they don't know how to start fucking fires. They had no need for it because wherever they were born from,
because they have a wand that can,
and now all of a sudden show them fire, like holy
shit,
we didn't even think of that. But yet they can travel in wormholes.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Because that's how they develop.
If they're a mechanized species, if they're what we would, I guess, consider artificial intelligence, because I guess we're natural intelligence.
Right.
But if they're a silicon-based series of creatures or specific species that just never needed, like you're saying, fire for warmth or meat for
just
food
anything,
or to harvest shit. If they're just like completely only interested in accruing knowledge,
like the Borg,
and sort of like
they
that.
really are.
Really.
The fucking
but
Borg,
without even kind of like the cruelty of integration that the Borg had, like this idea of they don't want us to be a part of them. They don't need any of that. They're just there to observe, and we're just another biological species, one of billions, if not trillions, that they've seen on plenty of planets. Some more advanced than us in terms of intellect or maybe even spirituality. Some less so. They might just not use that as a priority in terms of ranking human beings as being superior or inferior.
Well, if it doesn't add anything to the information they already have, I guess then you'd ignore it.
Maybe they really just need tulips. Maybe that's the fucking one thing they haven't quite figured out yet. Like, what the fuck's the deal with tiger lilies? I need to fucking understand this shit.
True.
And they're constantly here pulling fucking plants, digging some dirt.
Right.
Maybe it's earthworms that give them boomers.
Right. Why is there worms?
So, like, the proper questions aren't being asked.
It's very likely.
It could be. I mean, honestly,
but they could just ask them.
The biggest misinterpretation of the fucking cosmos is that literally, like most things in life, no one's communicating properly.
Could you imagine?
Oh, that's Earth. That's right now.
Oh, just talk to us and everything's fine. Fuck.
Because we are assuming that it is about us.
Yeah,
it's literally
not. That's what we always do.
It's like a fucking starfish laying on the ocean floor watching fishermen going, what's their intention? Is it all about me?
Yeah.
Are they stealing fish around me to make me feel a certain way?
Is it a threat? Do I have to do something about it?
About starfish.
Exactly.
And aliens might feel the same way about us. Like, they're doing shit on Earth that they are interested in doing, and they don't give 4 fucks about the human race. But we're all so fucking self-consumed. We're like, look at us. Look at me. Am I pretty? Am I doing this right? What am I doing? Are you my friend? Or
it's
did
a threat. It's about me.
Is Prometheus a good movie? Did you build us from scratch? What's going on?
First of all, Prometheus is a fucking excellent movie.
It truly is not. It is not.
It's not at all.
In closing, gentlemen, what do we think this is?
I don't fucking know.
I think it's almost certainly extraterrestrial in the sense that it's not indigenous to Earth.
We can all agree that people saw this and we believe it happened.
I really think it did happen.
Christopher?
I believe people saw it.
People saw this. We believe it happened. We're taking hoax and misinterpreted military maneuvers
even though a lot
out of the
people
fucking
lean that way, but I really just think it's too big.
But between us three, the tri-Illuminati, we're fucking taking it out. Okay,
I think so. Yeah.
So we're all on the same page. So Robert, what do you think?
They're from somewhere else. I'm fairly sure it's not. We're not dealing with a humanoid phenomenon. Well, I guess humanoid in the sense that they're bipedal and have arms, so I guess they are strictly speaking humanoid. I don't know. My instinct is say extraterrestrial, of course, possibly interdimensional, but something that came here for whatever purpose they did. And had interactions with human beings that maybe they never intended to have. That resulted in a terrifying experience for well nigh 60 people, and particularly 2 boys that were both evaporated and frozen. And that to them, they're not thinking of it any more or less than we think of, like I say, the fauna in the forest when we're there doing whatever the hell we're doing. We don't think about how the woodland creatures around us are reacting to it.
Right.
We're just doing our thing.
Yeah, totally.
And I really feel like that was their kind of mindset, if I could even possibly penetrate it. But I suppose just for lack of any other evidence, I've got to say it strikes me as an extraterrestrial, possibly scientific expedition.
All right, cool. I'm definitely along the lines of your thought. Obviously I'm keeping the interdimensional door always open because we never close that door because interdimensional and extraterrestrial could very well be the same thing.
Fair enough.
Don't know.
There's probably parallels we can't fathom. The thing is, we like to make tight lines. Like, are you from another planet? Did you get here in a technological vehicle made out of car parts and dreams? We want to do it. We want to assume everything's based on the logical extrapolation of what we have here on Earth, which is physical technology and a desire to go, say, from planet to planet, or star system to star system. But there is no real reason to impose that on a higher, more developed society.
Exactly.
That it might literally be a spiritual journey for them. They might be traveling through different realms of the soul. We just can't fathom it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be anything.
So I'm going to say that I'm in agreement with you.
Agreeance.
That's a good word.
Didn't we have a movie? Disagreeance? No, what was it?
That would be great.
Marcus and Rob starring Disagreeance as far as Prometheus is concerned. As far as Rob's theory with this alien encounter or interdimensional encounter is concerned, I am in full agreement. I agree. And I do believe that maybe there was an adjustment in perception, whether that's extraterrestrial or interdimensional, we're not sure.
So everyone got dosed.
Perception.
No.
The whole town of Voronezh.
No one got dosed. No, I'm gonna skip the LDS and the diabetes in this one, and just say that I agree with you.
The LDS.
I mean, this isn't as shit crazy as Casablanca.
No.
Which
I know.
There's an amalgam of 78 fucking 80s movies.
That was like a
totally.
That was batshit crazy.
So I am on board with Robert.
It's interesting.
Me and Robert are on board. We're on a boat together. Christopher, will you join this boat with us?
Yeah, no, it feels that way. It feels
See, I love it when we're all together.
I mean,
I do. Because we're friends.
When I say interdimensional, and
when
you say interdimensional, I think we're kind of talking about two different things.
What do you mean?
Like you say interdimensional, you're just thinking of a portal to another world.
I'm
thinking more of a scientific version of what different dimensions actually mean.
When I say interdimensional, I don't necessarily mean portal. I'm just saying that you're getting a different perspective on a possible other reality that is adjacent to our own. I'm not necessarily saying that there's interaction between the two, just that we're actually perceiving what is there. I know a lot of the times it sounds like I'm like, portals open up and fucking big feet and Hopkinsville goblins come dancing out.
But it's very important. I mean, that's just a word that can be used depending on what your definition of a different dimension means.
And you're right. And
it isn't just like a Stargate where you just go into a fucking thing.
And
there are scientific theories on dimensions, and they mean something different than just like a Stargate.
When I talk about interdimensional stuff, I'm more along the lines of what you said with Neil deGrasse Tyson's theory about it. I don't necessarily believe that we're talking about portals opening up like Rick and Morty interdimensional TV.
Though I do love that.
I do too.
No, but it doesn't mean that they can't.
It can't, but I generally
it can be both. But it literally can be both.
I mean, it could be.
I don't know how that works. We don't know how that works.
I tend to err more towards that we are having a shift in our perception of reality or of what we perceive as reality, and then looking at something that's completely outside of our reality.
Well, yeah, you would see it different from a different dimension thing coming in. You're going to see it different than what it exists in its own dimension.
Exactly. Speaking along those lines, because I totally do what Chris is saying in terms of ability to perceive dimensionally, and I also am a big fan of the Rick and Morty portal type theory. I mean, I can integrate both, but I also love and I've mentioned this more than once, the from beyond theory that mid-'80s Stuart Gordon
where we're surrounded.
We are coexisting, but perhaps as you either elevate, we always want to think of it in terms of evolution, elevation, improvement. Maybe that's not the way to look at it. Maybe you have to de-evolve, but for the sake of argument, let's just say you have to achieve the ability to see the things that might be around you at all times that you just simply are unable to, and perhaps, thank God for this, see. Whether they be parasitic fucking tooth eels that fucking float around you that if they noticed you would devour your face off your fucking skull, or beautiful centaurs that like to fucking frolic and, have you out for picnics. Who the fuck knows? But we could be constantly surrounded by shit that we just can't perceive and they can't perceive us. Maybe dimensions work that way. It's not about either portals or even the simple shift of perception from, say, second to third to fourth dimensions, which of course we can't even fathom.
In most of the things that I've researched, the idea of portals doesn't necessarily have a scientific backing as far as like
string theory doesn't talk about portals
or or like an Elon Musk or something talking about like parallel existences, parallel universes, and just basically all these different realities kind of mishmashed on each other.
Well, the bubble theory, all these different things.
So I'm looking at it more as like that it's either it's a higher level of perception or possibly even a lower level of perception, which is also a possibility, and you're seeing it. And could there be interaction? Well, yeah, of course, because if they can see, if I can see them and they can see me, then we can see each other.
But why did these fuck-sucking space robots go to Russia in 1989?
Why not?
Exactly.
Glasnost, bitch. They was there for
exactly.
Perestroika.
Yeah, I mean,
Detente.
Really,
the fucking Scorpions.
Yeah, if you think
Rocky IV.
Oh, that's right.
Ivan
Drago. And really, I mean, if you think about the area,
Knights.
think about this. If you consider the area at the time, the area at the time is a fucking hotbed.
Russia has always been.
Yeah, but
fucking
Chernobyl,
when the fucking Iron Curtain is getting ready to fall, if you wanted to go check something out, you'd be like, "What's happening on Earth?" Or whatever fucking dimension this is.
What I love is that
there it
this
is. Let's
happened.
go fucking check it out.
Hot on the heels of the Soviet Union, so that it got reported. That's the beauty of the glasnost.
Communism couldn't fucking put this thing under the fucking rug.
And they surely would have.
Oh,
because
completely,
behind the Iron Curtain, it wasn't about whether or not the information could help the masses or science or the rest of the world understand what's going on. It was about clamping down on this shit because you didn't want it to embarrass the Soviet Union, and you wanted to find if there was anything you could militarize and profitize for the grand glory of the motherland. And once all this shit fell apart, they were like, fuck it. This shit happened. This is crazy.
Yeah, totally.
Enjoy it, world.
All right. There you go. We all agree.
That what?
In some way, shape, or form, we have all agreed on the space boat.
Yeah, we're all riding on the same space boat.
Are we ancient aliens now?
We are.
I have ancient. I'm developing my ancient aliens hair.
No, I saw the pod before. Technically, the pod before it was pretty hot.
I have Strucculose hair. I have Giorgio.
All right, so we're on the Galactic Arc.
Yeah, we're there. Listen,
we're sailing into the horizon.
Galactic Arc.
Yeah, we are friends again.
We never stop being friends.
I'm just saying, we're even closer.
We're dimensional friends.
We're
interdimensional buddies.
Interdimensional buddies. Yeah.
We're a 3-man Illuminati.
Yeah, totally.
On the space arc, heading toward fucking
Valinor.
Yeah. Wolf 2424.
Yeah, we're
there.
Doing
it is. We're there.
All
awesome.
Right, we'll see you there.
We are the Kryptonaut Podcast.
We sure as fuck are.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode. As always, we appreciate your ratings and reviews on the Apple Podcast and the iTunes apps. It helps us out greatly. The social medias, the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Facebooks. And you know what? There is a lot of you out there that I talk to on a pretty regular basis on the socials. Shoot us your theories about this. I know a lot of you are chomping at the bit. We've already talked about this episode.
I mean, we've gone down not even just like beyond rabbit holes, super wormholes.
Shoot us your ideas. Yeah. Shoot us your theories. We love hearing it. We love talking to you guys. Totally. It's fucking awesome. We got a great thing going on here. We are super excited for all the support and all the kind of words that we've received from everybody. Again, rate and review. Follow on the social medias, kryptonautpodcast.com. Be sure to look at our merch store.
Do it.
Because we have 4 designs up now.
Beautiful
We have
designs.
recently launched Rob's ultra-terrestrial design.
That's what we dubbed it.
And the indescribable Octoman. Plus, we have our standard logo.
Even though it's a picture,
it's
which
clear,
means it's described.
Clearly described,
describable picture.
We have our standard Kryptonaut logo, and then we have the T-shirt that features all three of us on there.
In our Sweet Charlie's Angel monster hunting pose.
I have that shirt, and I don't feel right wearing it because I'm on it.
I don't want to wear me. I can't wear me.
Though most people won't recognize you for you.
I think they would because you've drawn me pretty accurately where I look like me.
He looks like him
I look
on a
like
shirt.
Me,
well, I tried to make
you guys all look like you.
Well, why would you not?
I would wear it. Fuck it.
So, you know what? If you want to support this podcast, the ratings and reviews help. But if you want to help us monetarily speaking, feel free to buy something from TeePublic. We get a little kickback on the end. It helps us out with hosting costs, and it helps us buy beer. And also, too, speaking of alcoholic treats, we want to give a big shout out to Jerry from Mississippi.
Yay.
Mississippi Jerry. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
We have
Jerry.
been enjoying this entire pod. I think we almost drank all of them, or there's like 3 left or something.
There's like half of them left.
Half?
Yeah,
we
we've done
half
a
of
good
it?
job, but
Okay.
there's still a noble amount for next week.
Yeah, because I brought beer, and then there was already a box of beer, so we got a box of beer.
Wonderful.
Plus, I know, there's
Absolutely
a ton of beer.
wonderful.
All right, cool.
Special.
So thank you for joining
Thank
us,
you, Jerry.
and Jerry, you're the best. We'll be talking to you soon.
See you later. Bye.